Okay, guys, let's go ahead and just jump into it. I had some time to do a quick live stream, so I do want to do that for you. And what a crazy day! We're starting to see a potential wave three develop, and we're getting a lot more intensity. And but we don't have enough separation to really call this, a three and a four. So we're just looking for more downside. Sure, there'll be counter trend rallies, and there's a lot of different ways to label them. Let's just say Wednesday we rip higher, like some people think. Maybe we do that, and two comes up here, right? So I can play with the chart in so many ways to cover it. But what's really strange to me is so many bearish people I followed. They're actually saying, no, no, this isn't it. Buy, the market's gonna. They're almost talking themselves out that of what's happening themselves. Like the analogy that I saw was like this, like the tight, water boat taking on water and nobody notices. It's like the Titanic hit an iceberg and you're noticing like water at your feet and you're like, why is there water everywhere? We don't care. Let's just go to the party, and no one seems to notice. It's really mind-boggling because for the longest time, all these bearish forecasters all the way up this channel were always saying every pullback was this was it, and all this, and now I think we may actually have something going, and they're actually not. So it's a head scratcher to me in sentiment. That means they must be really got PTSD from the bull market. They're so scared to call the top because they've been burned so much, which also means they're probably not as many people short that you think. Now I saw there was record put volume. Maybe it's people that are hedged. Maybe it's there's reasons for that. But guys, I mean, if I'm looking at the futures right now, that shit doesn't look good. That's almost down another percent technology. Trust me, the Dow is going to be following suit and will be playing catch up. It's going to be playing catch up. The Dow will be playing catch up. But it's a head scratcher to me, all the bearishness. I'm seeing the bullishness from the bear community. And then the bulls today were kind of quiet, not as arrogant. So that means, okay, maybe we're getting fear. Maybe some fear is coming into the market and the complacency is leaving. So that's typically a wave three, and a wave three is a VIX spike, which we really need to get. And we're close to that moment. We're close. If this is the count, perhaps this is a CPI little bull trap rally. The trap, and then maybe this is government shutdown on Friday annihilates investors. I don't know the news of it, or maybe it's already in a 1-2 and the VIX is just ready to explode. Maybe CPI comes in hot and it backfires, and it's just, phew, like I don't want to be playing around when the VIX looks like this and the UVIX looks like this on the weekly. The UVIX looks like this on the weekly, guys. It just broke out. It's going to go higher. I think we're in a multi-week, multi-month bear like grind lower now. But anyway, you guys got to trade it. I'm just saying the warning signs are there, and so you just be careful. That's all I'm saying. Is be careful. I've been saying that. And I hope it doesn't do too much damage. But I think we're going to continue to sell off. I think the sell off is going to continue. All right, let's go to your super chats, guys. Tesla. So all my members are short Tesla. We traded Tesla perfectly. If you have friends that could benefit, that have lost money in Tesla, you need to have them go join my pro channel. My pro channel is $20 a month, and I gave this short setup. And we're all sitting pretty. Some of them have made a fortune because they buy puts and stuff. I don't buy puts. I just, there's ways to play this short. And we're not even, we may cover it in this area and take our profit, but it's playing out as according to plan. This is happening right in before our eyes. Now, for some reason, you had analysts saying buy here, and they were talking themselves into buying these areas. Oh no, it's a fifth wave. It's a Z wave. It's all these waves. But it has to go higher. But we can't. We refuse to acknowledge the evidence in front of us that it's going to go lower, and we didn't. And we not only did we acknowledge the evidence, we traded on it, and we won and prospered, and our members are winning. That down day was an up day for my members on the pro group, guys. That down day was an up day today. But we can't be too greedy. So we are talking about covering that around 210. So I think Tesla can find support at 210. And it really depends on if it can erase divergence, there's a chance it could be a major low here for potentially new highs. But if it still keeps this divergence as it drifts down, then you're talking like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're looking at a bounce and another swing lower. And then you're looking at a flat from the all-time grand supercycle peak, where this was an A, a B, and then a C, and you come back to retest 103 and probably break it. All right, and that's where it is. And look, it got rejected exactly at the 1236, exactly where it would have been for a flat. So this has all the signs and symptoms of a flat in the making. So just understand that if you're going to try to pick it off here, you could be picking off a B wave, a wave 2. Okay, you could be picking off a wave 2. Now, of course, the other count is this is a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and we're just going to gap down and like this, like we'll have a 30-40% down day, guys, something like that, 30 to 40%. And then obviously with that kind of momentum, you don't want to buy it. So you're going to have to be nimble. You're going to have to watch the price action. It's hard for me to say just buy it at 210. You need to watch the price action. If you have a move into this box and Tesla's down 30% or more, don't touch it. It's a flat. It's going back to the lows. If it can meander its way down, then I think you look at the divergences. If the divergence is erased, it's potentially a major bottom. If it isn't, then its chances are you'll bounce, but the bounce is likely to fail for the final low. And then that's Tesla, guys. Okay. Let's go to your other symbol here. ROG. Rogers Corporation. Rogers. Rogers looks like a massive head and shoulders pattern, right? That's about to break down. Again, I'm not a genius in chart pattern trading, but that line looks like a massive neckline that must hold, and you broke and closed below it. And not only that, you had a bounce and a failure. So this is obviously going lower. I mean, this is a stock you short on bounces. See, it's negative. There's not even a way to project the target. It's so bearish. So it's very bearish. It's like if you see a 3-wave bounce, short it. You want to short it. I'll try to give you some counts so you have an idea where you are in your journey down. Looks like you're moving in 3 waves. So there's your connector off of probably 5. Just a weird looking impulse down. Some kind of 1, 2. So you need to take that divergence out. You'll need to take that out, which will create. I mean, you know how much selling it's going to take to break that. So you still have a major move lower coming. It may be imminent. That move may be happening at any moment. 1, 2, and then that's probably a 1, 2 up there. Something like that. Okay, CGC. So CGC, guys, is got to be getting hurt with the small caps. We have it in a fifth wave for now, unless it can erase divergence and become another 3. It's starting to do that. It's starting to do that. So, you know, it's going low. It looks like it's going to go lower, right? The market's going lower. These stocks may go out of business. They may go bankrupt, guys. I know you don't want to hear it, but at some point you have to start saying to yourself, it's going to zero. And perhaps this sector isn't going to be supported by the government. People are too broke to buy this shit, and the interest rates are too high, and these companies may go to zero. And that's what these charts are starting. If now with the divergence erasing, you have to start thinking to yourself that this whole sector is in a lot of trouble fundamentally. And it seemed almost impossible that situation could happen. But that's what's happening before our eyes. So I don't know why fundamentally I can't get a bit, but it's got more downside. It's got more downside. It's just the way it is. I don't know. It's something's broken in that sector. That sector is broken. There's a financial hurricane hitting the cannabis sector right now. The right perfect storm must be hitting it, and it just isn't known to investors yet. It may be because obviously it's selling off, but this chart is losing. I would be losing hope for the bull case on this chart. Okay, guys. The Fed is happy, driving the 10-year yield down. This is the thing I think about the market, guys. Trump wants to crash the market to force the Fed's hand to lower rates, or perhaps the Fed wants to lower rates and they're in cahoots with him. So you have no Fed backstop and you have no government backstop. This is why the market's panicking today, because they said something on CNBC, and I was already thinking this. But as soon as that sentence was said, the market started to tank. I don't remember the exact moment, but the guy said, normally a government is friendly to the industries and companies, and in 2008 we really needed the government to bail out companies that got into trouble. TARP, those things. We may have a government in this situation that's broke and doesn't have the money and is actually cutting. What if we have a really big sell-off and we need government money to help support the markets? I doubt we're going to get it. And as soon as he said that, I'm telling you, the markets started to change their gears. It happened instantly. But think about it. That makes so much sense to me. If you're a normie out there in 401k normie, and you hear that, there's no more government backstop. There's no TARP. You think Trump and Elon Musk and Doge is giving out TARP money? Fuck no. They're not doing that. Those companies are going to go bankrupt, and they're going to come begging to Trump. And guess what? Trump's going to want all these concessions if you get any money. And that's what he may want. Could you imagine the power he would have over the corporations if they had to come begging to him with their hands out for a government bailout? That may be exactly what he's trying to do here. He may be trying to do what Bush and Obama got the luxury of doing. And then he gets to dictate the terms to major corporations begging for a bailout. You what? So I got me thinking, and I was already thinking that, but I was like, that would be something. That's some 3D chess there from Trump. And then the Fed, right? They want to lower rates because they know it could bankrupt our nation. Higher rates, they can't pay. We can't service the debt, so they want a reason to lower. So the Fed comes out, Paul comes out, and people are like, "Oh, he was dovish last week." He wasn't dovish. He said basically, there's no reason to lower rates. Everything looks okay. That's hawkish. He's not in any hurry, so we're not even close to the conversation for him to lower rates. So the markets are way away from the Fed put. So the markets have no backstop. The Fed isn't backstopping them anymore for the time being. The government appears not to be. And then you add the Doge and cutting government spending, which is a huge part of GDP, gone overnight. I went to the Atlanta airport the other day. It was freaking empty. And Delta today with the warning. I was telling my wife the other day, Delta airport was freaking dead. When I traveled last week. And Delta puts out So Doge has definitely put the brakes on we haven't even seen that effect in the numbers, because companies never want to, admit, earnings growth is going to slow down until they have to. So you've got all this headwinds, and that's what's driving the market lower, guys. That's what's driving the market, and that will eventually catch the fever of the normies out there, and they're all going to sell. Every one of them is going to hit sell, because why would you write that shit down if there's no backstop anymore for a while? I mean, why would you? It's almost like the pandemic situation, but there's no vaccine to help save you. There's no nothing. And if rates go down, if the CPI is lower, that means the economy is turning lower. It's slowing down. It's recessionary. That's bad news. That's not good news. So it's lose-lose in the end. The inflation report could be lose-lose, even though a sucker's rally may think of it as good. It's not really. It means deflation is happening. It means the economy's slowing down. So I'm just telling you guys. So I think what I'm hearing is this: the yields will drop, but my charts show that the yields are going to spike back up. Probably when this wave 4 is over and someone capitulates and blinks, and we get one more high in the market, and then you get to. I don't think this is the grand super cycle peak. That's all I'm saying. But I think this is the grand super cycle wave 3 top. Right? When was the last grand super cycle wave 3 that we've ever seen? Well, the first cycle ended in 2008 and 9. So where was wave 3? That was the 1970s, and that bear market took almost 15 years to go through. Could we be in a 15-year bear market here? I don't know. Maybe. Probably not. It's because things happen faster with computerized trading now. But I mean, wave 4s could be a triangle. We could be in a triangle that lasts a long time. Like, we're in a wave 4 grand super cycle correction. So I just telling you guys that's what we're in right now. That's what I think we're in. If we're lucky, it ends fast. But if we're not, it takes a long time. But anyway, guys, so Tesla, yeah, so I'll keep moving on. So do DJT instead. So we gave up on DJT because small caps. So if the Russell index is going down, we don't trade small caps. We saw the minute the Russell broke down, everyone that was my member was told to sell their small caps, no matter how much they loved them, how precious they were, how good they were to them, how important the letters meant to the. We didn't care, because if the Russell goes down, the whole ship sinks. You can't have small caps thrive with the Russell index going down. It's not possible. DJT, this was my last update we gave. We're looking for 1564. So that would be it. So more downside. This is the chart I've got on it. A 1, 2, WXY, 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 AB. It looks like we have a 1, 2. We're about to hit a 3 and 4, 5. So it looks like we got a little bit more downside to come. It looks like you have a 1, 2, and you're in 3 of 3 right now. Any short I would suggest. Any rallies in Bitcoin and crypto in 3 waves you could short. Rallies, so here's the thing. The stuff that hasn't dropped yet will eventually drop. So the Dow hasn't. So I like to short the Dow in 3 waves if we could get a 3-wave rally. I also like to short Europe stocks if we get a good setup. This is an idea I gave my elite members, so I'll give this to you guys for free just watching. If I can find the symbol. It's a weird symbol, but I was looking at it this weekend. EPV. EPV is ultra short Europe. I'd like to buy that or short Europe. It would have been nice to get it at 29.81. It may already be too late turning off the high. It may already be too late. It looks like we are breaking the cycle. So what you could do here, and again, this is a very aggressive, risky. You market buy it and put your stop at 31.29 and try to play that short, because Europe is overextended. People FOMO'd into Europe, and then the DAX hit the fundamental investors between the eyes, right, with some really nasty news, I think. Let's see if it shows up here. If I want to get the news right. There was some nasty news that growth slowed a lot more than they expected. I thought they were booming. I guess not. So I think this this is essentially vertical. And it looks like this has so much room to correct. So this is the best area to try to pick up a short once you get the cue. Like I don't want to top tick and try to like call the top, but we have to be close, right? If I label this wave, we have to be close to it, right? I'm just going to try to label this real quick. Right? It looks like it's done. Right? It looks like something like that. It looks like it's done. Plenty of time. You know, as I say, market buy your short. You got plenty of white space to correct. Look at your wave 4 cluster. It's way extended. Way extended. It got over its skis. I don't know why investors like panic bought into DAX, but let me get this news right for you guys, because I think I remember reading something about Germany production was below forecast. Let me see if I can find it here. Let me see here. I'll have to dig it up. There was something about there was something about either exports were down 4.2% in Germany, and there it is. German industrial orders in January fell by 7% from the previous month. Okay? That's not a booming economy. I mean, what fundamental investor reads that and goes, oh, wait, I want to go ahead and put my whole stack of chips in the DAX? I mean, come on, guys. Okay, come on. I think it's crazy. It's crazy to think that. And then their interest rates are rising because they think they're going to have to print money to build their military out, which has got to be bearish. Anyway, so those are some things. That's what I'd be shorting right now. All right, guys, let's keep going with this. Bitcoin. I gave a free update on my X channel for Bitcoin. And it's playing out. If you happen to see it this weekend and traded on that or prepared, you made a ton of money in the last 24 hours. Because it was an obvious continuation triangle to the downside. When I saw it, I posted it. I said, hey, a tornado popped on the radar. We need to get it. My members got the alert and prepared. Although some people were angry at the weatherman for saying that forecast and like quit in a fit of rage my service. But then again, it played out and the tornado probably just destroyed their house anyway, and I could care less. But I'm always going to give you what you want to. I'm always going to tell you what I think is the right call, not what you want to hear, and ask for your forgiveness later. All right, Robinhood, guys. Robinhood is Robinhood. Our members, we were very careful about traded Robinhood. All right, we're very careful about Robinhood. So Robinhood, guys, we're patiently waiting for our pitch, right? We didn't buy it here. This was a sucker's rally. We knew it was. Why? Because we usually on a major correction lose the whole wave 5. It didn't go deep enough, and it turned out to be a sucker's rally. A lot of people on TV were talking about they bought it here. They're underwater. They got blown up. They lost 20% of their capital today, but not the people that followed me that paid $50 a month. They didn't lose 20% of their capital today. They could have shorted it for all I know. I wasn't shorting it, but here we are now. We're here. We're at 32.81. So once we get to this area, it is possible for a relief rally. I think It bottoms when Bitcoin hits around the 72,000 area. I like to see Bitcoin around the low 70s, Robinhood somewhere in here, and Tesla somewhere around 210. When all those three conditions are met, I think you're ready for a rally or potentially a massive move. Now, I have it as new highs, but we have to be real. We have to keep it real here. This is only 3 waves up, so it's corrective. And the further we go down like this, the more and more likely it's not an impulse. The more and more likely it's not an impulse. And I know people will hate to hear this, but it's just the facts, guys. It's an ABC. And all this is a big corrective sequence. And we're going to come back and break this low. This low. This unthinkable, right? That would be annihilation, right? Crypto, Tesla, annihilation. So we don't worry about that until we break. I still think we can hit 25 and be okay. So this is going to be a tough call because the way we're going down, it's looking more and more like this. But even if it's this, we need a bounce. And I think this is the area we'll bounce. So worst case, we bounce here and then it tanks. So you make a little bit of money and you stop out later. Best case, it's the low. And we nailed it. We nailed it, and we go, and you have a great opportunity, and we nailed it. Okay, so I don't know. I just don't know, but I mean, the price action's acting like a flat, guys. It's not really acting that well. But although it did need to cover a lot of ground, it did cover a lot of ground today. And there we are. We need some 4s and 5s. It's got more downside. Personally, I think it's going to hit 25. It's going to backtest this support right there. Right here. I bet it's going to backtest this. That's probably where it's going. All right, guys? Thanks, Halstone, for the shout out. I appreciate it, man. You've been one of my loyal followers. I know from beginning, and I really appreciate it. And yeah, I'm trying to... All you guys can do for me is get people to join, because the more I get to join, the more time I can devote. When I hit 500 subscribers, no matter the level, I'm going to add perks without charging. I'll be able to do more. And ultimately, I want to be able to trade during the day live all the time. And there's been so many intraday setups I've nailed that I wish I could share with this group, but I can't, because I just don't have, I can't commit that kind of time until I get more people signed up. So it's a win-win, and your friend also wins for signing up, as you're saving their capital. Because I'm telling you, a lot of people that are in these hot names, they're blown up, and this is real people's lives that are in a lot of harm now. Real money, real capital, real savings. I mean, I knew a dude that was playing the pumps in 2001, and he lost it. He committed suicide, guys. He killed himself because he lost all his money. Okay, I'm just telling you, like, this is people's lives here. That not just, it's just not these lines on a screen. I mean, and that's where you did bad information on Twitter when they're telling people to buy and all this, and if people really fall for it and they lose their capital and they don't have a lot to lose, and they're kind of responsible. Like, you can't be just these pumpers. Pump. You got to be careful with what you say, because people rely on this, whether they should or shouldn't. But anyway, you tell your friends about it. It's a win-win. You win because you get more perks. I win. I get more members. And they win because you help them. And if anything, they learn something about the market. Okay. Yeah, the GUR, I've been keeping my eye on that. It's in that leg down, and I don't want to. I'm just skeptical of that whole GUR stock. I'm just so skeptical, but it was acting really well. If we get a good structure on it, 3 waves down, what the hell? Why not try along? Why not? Thanks, yeah, the MSTR, and I felt that's why I posted that on my channel, that like, stay in that short. It was a games. That was a poker part of the markets, guys. the poker part of market, when they were trying to shake us out of that short, I was like, F no, no way. In fact, I'll add more to it. Like I realized what was happening. Like, see, and that's just my experience. Like, and then they finally got blown up. The pot was I took the pot today. I won the pot. And it was like and that's the game these markets are trying to play on people. And it's like I just kind of scratched my head. It's like I don't get again. And then I'm seeing people buying calls on on MSTR today on open. I'm like, why are you buying calls on open? I mean, this shit is just getting annihilated. Like, if anything, your momentum trader should just buy puts on open. It's just a head scratcher. Colette, thanks for joining. Appreciate that. Hope it works out. Now, Ryan Gur to say 30 before the ultimate. All right, I'll look. I'll go into Gur for you, and DJT I gave you already. Gur is interesting, and I was trying to call this flat, right? And this has been just real tough. Like, I want it here, the wave 4. I want it here, but it truncated. And again, if I look at it, it's impulsive. So I think you got to call the low in here. Now, is it extending in 5? I guess it's the 5 extending. Let's look at that. So okay, so that's what it is. So this 5 is extending because we haven't broke the major cycle yet, but we're about to. So the 5's in. So this 5 extended on us. It was a trap. It was kind of a trap here. Again, I gotta fix this. I don't know why I have it. I gotta fix the label in here. Hold on. So what I'm looking at is really the 4 was there. It was like that. So it's kind of like a just, and so now we're getting the correction. Do I want to buy it? Yeah, I want to buy it in 3 waves. So I think right now you're in the first wave down off the high. You broke divergence there. So you have 1, 2, 3. And then there's a connector right there. And that gets you to 22.55. So that's probably your first stop-in point, but maybe that's the connector. Let's look at it one more. Let's look at it closely again. Yeah, I bet that's the connector. That's the connector. Let's go to a shorter time frame. Yeah, it's very subtle, very shallow. It could be a 5 too. So so here's the count. I think we just got to call it an impulse for now. It's not enough data. It's not enough data to make big calls on it. But I think this is how you would label it. It looks like that 5 should be ending pretty soon. Should get a rally. It should. Now, again, it could always erase divergence. It could always erase divergence. That's another 1, 2 here. Again, I'm just trying to label this for you to see where you are with it. So something like that. So I believe it's a couple things. My guess is you're going to get a bounce here at any moment, and the bounce will fail. This is the most likely path. The unlikely path is it just goes straight down to the buy area, and the buy area is set between the 4 and the 2 here. But we need more data. We got to let this play out more. But the top is about to come in, right? We're about to hit the break the trend line I just showed you. So I think it was just an extended 5th wave is what happened. Okay. I think the B wave could hit 30. The B wave could come back to this wave 4 at 30. Yeah, the B wave this is highly likely, and then down. Highly likely. But can I guarantee it? Nothing's guaranteed. So if it doesn't happen, don't get mad at me. But I think it's highly likely based on what I'm seeing that you will get a rally back up to somewhere around 30, and then it will fail. And then you'll probably make a head and shoulders, right? Right? You're going to make a right shoulder. That's what you're going to do. You're probably going to make a right shoulder. And then it'll finish its correction. That's probably what's going to happen. Okay? Yeah, so UVIX, guys, UVIX should continue higher. It is breaking out. It has not hit our target area, but I do think it's at risk of a small degree 5, followed by a pullback, which would be another suckers rally to trap buyers, ironically, right around Wednesday. So Wednesday could be a rally, but it could be the ultimate suckers rally bear trap of a lifetime, a bull trap of a lifetime. That's what I'm saying, because if you look at this UVIX chart, 5, and then you get 2. And this 2 could come all the way back. Hell, it could come all the way back down here even. But this is the count. Now, if it's a 1, 2, 1, 2, the UVIX is going vertical. It's going vertical on tomorrow. And tomorrow's go time. This, guys, should scare the shit out of you if you're bullish. This chart right here, and I gotta draw it right. I lost one of my arrows here. This chart should scare the shit out of you. This is the weekly RSI. The fun's only beginning. The fun's just starting, guys. The fireworks have just started. This should resolve somewhere around here on the weekly time frame. Now, it's not straight up. It could be straight up. It was straight up here. But that's all I'm saying. So this chart, I was saying, I've been saying this I've been saying this chart event one day will break out, and when it does, the market is in a lot of trouble, and it's starting to see that. So the UVIX is telling you all's not good. Also, you have a higher high breakout. Okay, right? I gave this out for free on my X. It happened. It's happening now, despite people's heads being in the sand. It's still happening. We should see 53.18. We're not there yet. Now we got to like 49, but that's not close enough. So we need to get into the. Now when we're in that area, there's a chance the UVIX could peter out, right? So we're not there yet. We're not there yet. Okay. But it's clearly starting to go parabolic. UVXY, it's kind of the same thing. I think, I don't know if I have that charted, but it's kind of the same thing. So hopefully that chart helps you out. Yeah, I remember somebody asked me about, guys, I called the August calamity before it happened. Look, we were playing around. Somebody asked me this on a live stream, and we gave the long setup here. And then what happened the next day? It it went all the way up to 66. So that dude probably made a fortune. Whoever asked me that setup. Now, do we have a setup like that coming up? Unfortunately not. Nothing like that. But it could still go just as vertical, just as quick. We see that happen, and it looks like it wants to do it so bad. It wants to go vertical so bad. It just needs, and it kind of already broken out here off of that low. It's probably the same count as UVIX, right? It's probably the same count as UVIX. 1, 2. Let's see here. So you see the peak is in wave 1. Let's look here. See the peak's in wave 1. It's peaks here. The peak needs to be in wave 3. So the odds are that's not 3, right? Its odds are that's another 1, 2. That's the odds, right? Now it could be what I had earlier, but this is the count I would go with. Currently, you reset the cycle. on that peak, on this peak here. So if anything, perhaps you could make this 1 and get rid of this. If you know, maybe if I stared at it long enough, I could put the 1 there, and maybe I should do that just to be. And then you made a higher high move, which is what we saw in the weekend update, which gave us the warning sign about today. So that gets you to 30, 32. So it should, yeah, we should be pushing higher. It's when you're in this area, there's a chance you could see sellers come in to stop it. But sometimes when it gets escape velocity, it just goes like a champagne cork that gets uncorked. And then you have to just use your imagination how high it can go. It just depends on the amount of panic that sets in. How's the market doing? Yeah, just the futures are kind of irrelevant given how market's been trading. PayPal. Yeah, PayPal's been one we haven't looked at in a while. Let's see how that's doing. We had to give up on that a long time ago because of the structure. Yeah, see, we gave up on that. Even though I had the box, I didn't want anyone buying it. So off this low, it looks like we have 5 and we're in a flat. And yeah, we're in a flat here. So it's definitely gotten beat up, right? Now, here's the thing about PayPal. We're in this flat. We have this like A, B, C off the low, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means it should bottom here, but we erase divergence, so it's extended. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So it's coming down to this area. It's coming down to 55. Now, the bigger problem I have, and again, I can easily tweak the count and put the 5 down here. I could make this 5 waves. And then I could do something really, really nasty. Like that. And then it has a whole nother cycle lower. And we're going to break 49. And then we could go down in 1, 2 and just go down. And then it goes ultimately to somewhere around 39.94. So I can't rule that out. But one thing I'm noticing here, off the 5, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 5 waves down with divergence. That's not a flat. That's not a flat. That's an impulse. So there's a high likelihood that you're impulsing down, which means that this count is valid. This one, which means it's going to go. So that's why I don't want to trade. I don't want to buy it. I think that's why I don't want to buy it. So I'm just going to label it what I think it is, but I'm not interested in buying it. And it doesn't. Maybe it can make an A, B, C and change things, but see, that should be done, but it erased divergence, so it's extended, which is what you would expect if this was to count. It's accelerating lower. It's not decelerating. So let's take a look here. Yeah, see, erased divergence. So if the only bullish case you could make on this is it's some kind of A and you get B and C later, and it holds the low. I don't think it's 3 waves down from here. I don't think it's 3 waves down because I think that's the peak. And if I put the peak there, that won't work either. So I have to go with that for PayPal. That's my take on PayPal. To me, it's the sidelines. I don't want to be in it. Dow 1000. Yeah, there's some dude that puts that out there. That he's a very smart man, and he's a smart guy at what he does. And I'm not dissing him. You guys may know who I'm talking about. But gosh, like, I mean, if the Dow went to 1,000, I mean, the unemployment rate would have to be like 90%. Like, no one would have jobs, I would imagine. We would be all out of work, and it would be a dark, dire place. War would probably be going on, and it'd be every man and woman for themselves, shooting each other on the streets for food. I mean, it would be horrible, guys. I couldn't even contemplate a world like that, but yet I do read that. I read that material. Someone said, and technically, I can see the argument. If you believe the grand super cycle is wave 5 from the 1979 or 80 breakout, if you believe wave 4 grand super cycle was the 70 lows and we've been in wave 5 ever since, if this is really wave 5 ever since on the grand super, that real grand, that level, then technically that's right. We would go back to Dow 1000. We would lose the wave 5, but we would lose it. Again, we see if that's the case, we know we lose wave 5s rapidly. They don't just meander down. So we would have to see 20% down days in the market constantly. It would have to be like 20% circuit breaker, 20. Markets can't open. All right, we'll open them. Shit, they're down 30% today. Like it would have to be like that kind of calamity to get us, because there's so much distance from there to there. And if it's a wave 5, there'd be no support technically. But it doesn't make sense because by definition, you would need the weakest hand, like the only people that bought in the wave 5 would have to be your weakest hands, your dumb money. But you had major investors. Warren Buffett was buying wave 5 since the 80s, and he's been in, and he didn't get out of the market fully yet. So I don't know if it lines up as like wave 5 was just a bunch of dumb money that went in and will just completely, like it was just completely a farce. I can't believe that happened to create that situation, but some people do believe that. And if it's the case, then I would just go quit your job now, enjoy life while you have it, because the shit's gonna get really, it's gonna be like the Dark Ages. Like go read about the Dark Ages. We'll be living through that if it got to Dow 1000. Yeah, Bitcoin guys is on my X. It's right there. Just look on my Bitcoin chart. It's playing out exactly as planned. Yeah, most finance, but I didn't, and I had the courage to put in my weekend update what I really thought, and it happened. But yet, it's funny. Literally, as the market started going down today, I had people leave my service. I think people just don't want to know the boat's sinking. They just can't. It is in a crisis. Crisis management says when faced with a crisis, human beings always deny the crisis and try to shoot the messenger because they try to discredit the message despite all the evidence around them. We saw it with COVID. We saw it with all these other crises in, the world that's happened over the years. It's always the first reaction by human being is to deny and then discredit the message. And then when it really happens, that's when you get the anger, the fear, the panic, and then the cry and sadness, right? And then finally acceptance. So I think it's just the stages of grief. But yeah. All right, EL. Let's go to EL here. EL. Estee Lauder. Let's take a look how that's doing. We have it in a buy area trying to double bottom. Now, given this market, nothing's a sure thing, but it is in the area. It's got to hold 63.71. It's trying to turn. It's trying to form a bottom here. It looks okay. Take this high out, and then the bulls may have it. We may have it. So it's trying to form a bottom here. Now, if we come back down and break this low, then we're breaking. Then it's going to take a whole nother leg lower, and then it becomes a connector for this entire move. It'll essentially be a go to zero play. So it's got back. It's kind of like I call it backing into the low. You have to back into the low here, or you're betting on bankrupt. You're betting on this company basically going bankrupt. So it's almost like a super low risk, high reward setup. Super low risk, high reward setup. So I want to watch that. We need to watch that one on our members need to watch that. Okay. Next one is LUCMF, a miner. So I don't like the miners until the XME finds a low. The XME broke down. So you don't want to trade miners yet until the XME is showing better stability. So look in here. You've got some kind of 5 waves up. Well, actually, it's in 3. It's in 3 and a connector. And then you made another 3. So it could be a couple things. It could be a corrective bounce, and it's going to go to new lows, or it's going to do a 5. It's going to do a 5, which is what you hope for. So if it's going to do a 5, either the 4 is done here, or it makes another leg lower. But there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee of a 5. There's no guarantee. So tough chart to try to trade that. That's almost too deep for a 4. So it really needs to hold that low. If it can't hold that low, then the odds are it's some kind of corrective bounce, and then it's going to have a much deeper, more complicated correction, where it could do something like that, right? Or it could just go to new all-time lows and just go into the abyss. And this move corrected this cycle, and now you're in a whole new downtrend. So you need to take this high out, and it needs to really hold this 71 cents. But the problem I have is the XME is not showing signs of breaking down. That's the mining like ETF. So, and also gold and silver don't look that healthy at the moment, which is also tied to mining. So you need to be careful any long position. If anything, you could break this low and then short it and try to make money on the downside. But once this low breaks, it should open up more downside, a lot more potentially. Okay. So the Bitcoin, and it's on my X channel. You'll see the chart. I post it. Andre, thanks, Andre, man. Appreciate everyone joining. So memberships, different levels. $5 gets you update, guys. $5 a month. I mean, $5. Everyone has $5 a month. My 8-year-old has $5 a month. Everybody has $5 a month. But $5 a month, guys, is this. I give the update on all these symbols here, including Bitcoin, including IWM. All these. This is basically the market. I want to add bonds. There's some more I want to add, but again, once I get to 500, I'll add a few more. I want to add bonds in here, and maybe a couple real hard commodities. I want to add some more stuff just to give a better overview of the market. But yikes, that's not good. But how's gold and silver doing? Yeah, see. So anyway, that's what you get for $5. Then $20, you get the pro symbols. And the pro symbols are basically big cap tech with a few others. Again, I want to add more symbols, so hopefully we can. And then the way I'll add symbols to pro group, I'll do a member poll. And then I'll have everyone comment, maybe pick your top 3. And out of all those, I'll pick the 5 that are the most voted on. And we'll add those, or maybe more even, if I can do more. Maybe I can do more than 5 more, do a bunch more. And we'll add to pro. And then elite, I can't show elite because it's kind of not fair to those members, but I track essentially, I try to track as much as I can and bring it in, or I bring in things from the live stream that pop up like we did today on Estee Lauder there. So that's what I do, guys. Okay. So how your count changed in Q3 and Q4 when you thought the super cycle was about to end, but wound up extending. Okay, so the reason I thought in Q3 that July we sidestepped that, and you guys, I'm not bullshitting. Everyone knows that because I got a lot of flack for getting out of the market, and I posted on X. I think all those posts are there. I was like begging people like holy shit, like what I was seeing was a freight train coming down and you need to like get out now. Like I believe me, it was cold. We were long everything. I must have been long almost every symbol. I had more money long and literally on a stop of a dime, we had to get out of the market like now. Like no shit. Get out now. And this is we used the VIX. The VIX was the clue. It was the VIX, guys. Because we charted the VIX for about over a year and a half, 2 years in this wedge, right? This wedge. And I was like, guys, if this VIX starts to turn and break out of this wedge, you're going to get a retrace of this, and it at least will come back up to 52.60. And sure enough, it hit my trend line. Exactly, 60. We saw the wedge breakout, the wedge breaking out here in impulsive. So once I started seeing that and we made the higher high, it's like, get the hell, we need to get the hell out. We started making, see, this is June, and then we started to see that push up in July right there. So once we started seeing that, that's when I stood up at attention, and I believe that this UVXY was another instrument we saw here, I think, was somewhere around the buy here. Where did we have that here? Somewhere around this area too. Where we came out, we made the higher high right here. Somewhere around here, we made the reversal off of this level. So we started seeing these things, and that's where we got very concerned. Very concerned. Now, I wasn't tracking the yen, didn't give a shit about the yen, although we did call the yen peak for another member who was tracking it at the time. It was the VIX was the reason that I got out, and I was more concerned because I was watching the VIX break into higher highs. And I don't know exactly the exact time in July, but it was before the big flash, big meltdown. So it wasn't like at the exact peak, but it was pretty close. And then that was that. And then I've been saying since my channel, I said, guess what? We have W, we have X, and we need Y, right? Oh my God, are we in Y right now? Is this actually happening? Again, this seemed unthinkable. And our buy, we just missed our box. Just missed it. I thought it was still going to push lower, though. I'm surprised it's breaking out so soon, but market's going to do what it's going to do. I thought the market could make another high, but it's not looking that way, guys. It's just not looking now. Trump's maybe just too much for Aladdin to overcome. And perhaps Aladdin's on the same side as Trump. We just don't even know. So anyway, guys, oh, that sucks, man. Let your winners ride. That's a bad story. But you see, we all know people like that. We all know people like that. You don't have X, what you're seeing. So you're the one asking me about Bitcoin. Okay, I'll flash up Bitcoin, guys, real quick. Bitcoin, guys, you know, I mean, geez, this is just playing out perfect. So I want to rewind a little bit and talk about Bitcoin. We had the peak here. That's why it's a colored box. That was our peak. Now, breaking down was tricky. This is a very complicated corrective pattern. I thought we would be in a WXY. We had a buy here. Our group had a buy. Now, we were waiting in this box when I started my channel on February 9th or 2nd, somewhere around here. So we did not buy or go into any of this mess. We were just waiting and waiting. And then we got our buy, right? We finally got our buy. And then it essentially went vertical. And then I was concerned. I was concerned because this was an impulse down. And if this was a WXY, you can't have an impulse. You have to have three waves. It just didn't work. It didn't make sense to me. I just couldn't resolve it. So and then I saw the back test of the downtrend line and the back test of this massive support line, this whole confluence. So it's like, we need to take some profit. So I told my members to at least take half your profit here. And then put your stop at this low, which broke today finally. So no one lose money. But then as we started consolidating, like, what is this? Is this a 1-2? And we're going to come out? Was it a 1-2? But then when you really studied the chart and I saw what was happening on the weekend, we said, no, this is a triangle and it's a connector, an X. And then on top of that, we went back to the higher time frame and we said, let's look at the monthly cycle. Did we break a major cycle? Because this would be a major cycle correction. And sure enough, we did. And so I had to follow my system. See, most analysts would change the rules and say, no, we'll still go higher, you know, but they refuse to believe the evidence in front of them. But I'm not like that. We broke the trend line. We're in a cycle. We have divergence at the top. That means this is a fifth wave. I can't just sit here and be like happy talk. It's not. So I had to give the update on the weekend that we're taking another leg lower, most likely. Nothing's guaranteed, but most likely. So so we posted that, right? We posted that, and sure enough, I posted the E was in, and we were here. And sure enough, we have broken down. We came up, and today was an intraday short. Again, if we were live trading, we would have shorted exactly where we turned. This was this was an intraday short that worked out beautifully, and now it's collapsing. And now here we are. I think it's still got more downside, and I believe the first area we bounce in A is right around here somewhere. I would be surprised if it just capitulates and finishes the correction down here. But what do I know? It could do that. Bitcoin's going to do what it wants to do. So I think this is the likely path that you see here. And breaking this low really did open up that path now. Right? How many people went on Twitter proclamating the lows in? How many followers are still calling Bitcoin the new time high? I mean, analysts, there's still analysts and chartists still saying it's going to new time highs. Look at all the evidence I just showed you guys, and there's still like, how can you sit there and say that? I mean, it's hopium. It's a symptom of the bull market peak. It's because they're refusing their denial. It's a they don't believe the evidence that's sitting right in front of their face. Okay, that's what's happening. The ship is sinking. Like, get on a lifeboat, guys. Get on a freaking lifeboat. The Titanic the ship is taking on water, and there's lifeboats still. There was lifeboats on the weekend. I tried to tell people get on a lifeboat, but they want to shoot the guy they want to kill the guy that says get on the lifeboat for telling them such bad news and ruining their dinner party. Like what the hell, man, is wrong with these people? It's just crazy human beings when it comes to crises. But it's happening right before our eyes. But we should bounce. We should bounce. But I'm not encouraging trading that bounce. But if you guys want to trade that level, I get it. There should be a bounce in this area. It will be highly unusual to break through that. But if we do, you better believe it will be a waterfall sell-off fast. And we probably will wick down to the lower area of 45,000 before all said and done. If it goes down like that. If it can do this gentle correction, we probably have a chance of stopping at 60,000. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, guys. We'll have to wait and see what happens. All right. Qubits. All right. Quantum stocks. There's one we're kind of keeping our eye on, our elite member, but total speculative. It's total like speculative, almost expected to lose. But the setup using my system could emerge. But maybe Qubits is another one. I didn't really pay too much attention to Qubits. That was one we called right. I called that pump. Right, we called that pump and made our member. I didn't have members at the time. It was all just free information. We made a fortune on that. We called that buy here, guys. Look, see, our buys usually look like this, and then we made this, and then of course I called the sell area, and sure enough, that was the game over. So we had the short area, we had the buy area now, and even further back, one of you jokers asked me about this, and I had no idea what the hell this company did. But I analyze everything. But we were like, oh yeah, this is being accumulated. Buy it here. This was the buy area. I mean, you guys really made out. I had no idea. I got to pay more attention sometimes to what you guys ask me, because I could have took this trade too. I should have took it. But we had the buy here. So we really have traded this well. So now the question is, where does this thing go from here? Where does this go from here? So I'm optimistic. I have it in a 4-wave. I have it as an impulse, right? But as we know, there's no guarantees. the wave 4 cluster somewhere around here. So we need to hold this low. So we're bullish off that low until it's broken. So we want to take the, believe it or not, the long side of the trade on this based on this chart. Again, I'm tuning out the news and what's happening around me, just trading the chart. It looks like you have like a 1, 2, let's see here. Let's take a look at this closely here. Yeah, you see you have the divergence at those peaks. So that's like a 3, 4, 5. Or is it, let's just think about this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll put the 1 there. So it's a tricky one. I think it's moving impulsively. It's just a complex correction. Maybe it's moving in 3 waves. Let's try that. Let's just try that. Yeah, that won't work. So let's go back to what I had. Yeah, this is a tricky chart to label here. Something like that. Like that, like this. And I don't have it as a flat from this peak. Yeah, see that I don't like it. I'll be forcing it. So this is a mess. So I think we won't get caught up in labeling. We'll just trade the level. So the level here, it's got to hold 379. It looks like you've got 3 waves down from that peak with a cycle break. So it has to hold 445. So it has to hold that level to stay bullish. If it breaks down, the chances are it's going to break this low, and then chances are this will be a connector and it will go down. So the next area, if that level breaks, that gets you back to 50 cents, a full round trip. So it's a do or die moment here. I don't know why it would pump tomorrow. There's no idea why it would, but maybe it would. I don't know. You could buy it and put your stop at 446 and see if you get lucky at the casino. But I don't see a good setup. It's just too tricky to label. I think it's probably a flat is what I'm thinking maybe, but it bounced too hard here, so I don't. If it's not a flat, then it's got to be corrective, and if it's corrective, it means it's probably going to go lower and break the low. But I don't think that's a shocker given what's going on in the market if it breaks the low. But I guess but again, there could still be a chance here off of this. It could be a 3, a 3, and a 3, and a bigger connector. Maybe that's the most bullish forecast you can get, something like that. Oh yeah, Dow 40. Dow. I didn't know that book. That's interesting. Yeah, I've been doing good. Soybeans. Yeah, let's take a look at soybeans. Soybeans was trying to turn out of our area. I guess that's bad for inflation, right? It's bad for inflation here. Let's see. So soybeans is in an area of support. It's trying to turn out of it. It's got 3 down. So it's kind of like a do or die moment. Now if you look, this looks like just 3 up. But let's go to the shorter time frame. Here actually looks like 5 up, but no divergence. Let's go to the 15-minute. You see a little bit. So there's a chance it could still hold. So I think it's still okay to stay with that long. It's still okay long position. But if we break this, it should come back to retest, and it's likely to break this low. And if it breaks this low, then this is a connector, and it's just going to get annihilated. Deflation then. It is. Okay, I got a few super chats here. Let me jump into those. TCNNF. Cannabis. Yeah, that sector's just getting annihilated. Although it did make it to our buy area. Let's do the count. We have it as a flat. A 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Unless divergence was erased, and it hasn't been. So again, it should be ending at any moment, any second. That's what we hope for. I mean, I don't see any more swings left. If this plays out, it should be ready to roll at at a moment's notice. Maybe Trump will tweet he's going to legalize cannabis, and then this shit will fly. I don't know, but that's the count, man. I would say it's ready to go. It's ready to roll. Unless it erases divergence. All right. GTBIF. So this one broke down. So it ruined our bullish setup on it. But see, it was already down in 5, so the odds are it would break. So now it's going to take another 5 down. So it's in an ABC correction from this peak. So it needs 5 down. So one way to get the level would be 404, right in this area. So it's got to complete another 5-wave cycle down into that area because it broke that low. And because it broke the low, if it rises, it could be shortable. You could short it until it gets to that box. It's probably something like this. And this could be a lot of things. So it's got to get down here. All right, and then MSOS. MSOS is another one that's like trying so hard. Whoops, what happened to it? To turn. It's trying so hard. Yeah, see, and it held the low by a miracle. It's a miracle. It's holding this low by a miracle. So there, as you say, there's still a chance. Now, if we break this low, it's got a whole nother cycle lower. And you see how we're erasing divergence? That's not good. Just like we saw in that other stock. I don't know why that other cannabis is more bullish. I have no idea, but it is. Now, see, there's still some divergence, but there isn't divergence from this low. But let's look at the 15-minute time frame. You do have see, barely any. So you would have to say that this is your 5th, but it's so short. You could have you may need one more low. You may need one more low to be ever more precise. So it could make another sequence lower. But if it erases divergence, it's like I don't know. I'd feel pretty hopeless. I mean, I would be in despair. I would be like, and that's probably when it will turn. I mean, this is again, is the whole sector going bankrupt or not? That's the question you're playing here. If you believe that, then it's acting as if these stocks are all going to go to bankruptcy. It just doesn't seem likely, but maybe the future is that bleak, and the market's sensing that. I don't know. All right, URAA. All right, so some kind of leveraged bull shares. All right, so we want to time that with the URA, right? The URA. So the URA is actually getting close. If I looked at it today, I think it's getting close. See, but we're not there. So when the URA is at 29, 21 in this area, the wave 4, you have a connector and you have 3 down. That would be probably the time. Now the URA is correcting the whole thing from the low. So that's why it just took a bigger detour down. But let's make sure we get our box right. We don't want to have it off. It kind of fooled us a little bit. We were a little too bullish on this sector. We're just a little too bullish on the sector. here. Oh yeah, why did I put? Oh, I put it there because I wanted it in the way I wanted to go deeper. Yeah, so technically the box is actually you're actually in the box, but I put the box there, overrid it because I felt it would go deeper based on the nature of the correction and the divergences you see. Let's go back and see if that divergence erased. It finally did. See, we finally erased it. So it'd be nice to take that peak out. If we can't take that peak out, then it may even be still in wave 5 as a 1-2 here. So I think it's I still think it goes deeper. So I think maybe the box is a little more tricky here. But let's look at this. And again, I don't have that direct setup for my elite members on it because it's not a very clear setup. But we could try. Maybe this one gives us a clearer setup. Now that one's hidden. That one's hidden. That one's hidden a key area. Now if you look, you have 1, 2, 3, and then 1. You could say that's, yeah, maybe you could talk yourself into it. Let's look at this level. So that's another really confluence right there. All right, what's label? Looks like an ABC down for W, X, Y, A, B, and then C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it looks like you want to start to buy it. I mean, that's what it looks like to me. Now this chart looks like it's buyable. Now the URA though is tricky because it needs to sell off more. I think because if it actually stops here, then it's extension in 5. Not as bullish. But I would prefer it right here. And you see this like all this chart support right there, right? You see all those wicks? Depending on how you draw it, maybe I can draw it a little bit like that. I want to see it tag that, ideally. That's the sweet spot. That's the sweet spot. So that's why I think it could still drift down. And if it does, that means this drifts down, right down to maybe there. So just be careful. If you're going to buy it, don't be surprised if it just kind of meanders lower with bullish divergences because it's a 5th wave. It just kind of meanders lower. But if it does that, then that setup, I'll share that. And I'll probably personally take that myself. But I think I don't want to buy it here. It's a sidelines. But anyway, that's how I look at this one, URA, guys. Yeah, I don't know about the fundamental case for MicroStrategy. I'm sure there are whales that want his Bitcoin, and they probably, set him up to make him go all in with his stack, to milk as much as he could from external money, to buy more, to get it, and his pot is so big. He's got a massive target on his back, and he's foolish to think otherwise. Because at the end of the day, Bitcoin is power, and people want your Bitcoin for the future. So he's got a massive, whether he's the spokesman of the community or not, they don't give a shit. There is whales that want that Bitcoin because he'll get to be too powerful if the Bitcoin moons. And he has got that much Bitcoin. He'll be more powerful than the U.S. president, for God's sake. I mean, they need him out. They need to take him out. So this drop in Bitcoin could just be about getting MicroStrategy's Bitcoins out from under them. And then the market will heal itself. Like, again, you don't know the game's being played, but I heard it was like if it's below 60,000, he's toast. He'll have to start selling all of his stuff. He's over levered. Don't know. But what an opportunity that would provide us, because we'll benefit from all that forced selling too. All right, Hive. Okay. Hive was one that we were still trying to stay optimistic for, but we had this last chart. Again, it's playing that capitulation move. This is the bigger picture. Let's take a look. Have to put the X there. Probably a 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're in a 5. But we're in a Y. So let me just, again, I'm just trying to think about this out loud here. So I think it's something like an ABC, and then something like, let's see, a 1, 2. See, I can't, that erased divergence on that peak, so that's another 1, 2 right there. And that's too short. I think that's too short, right? That's too short, but I think you can't expect it to go higher until Bitcoin stabilizes. So it's probably still just going to keep melting down. But I think the way to time the end of the correction is to just draw a simple trend line down, and when you break that trend line, the correction's over. But I bet it's going to take a while to do that. Okay, so that's where I think we're going with it. Okay, this last leg in Y, this last leg in Y, this took so long. Look how long it took, and look, it's just so this could be just the first part. This could be just the first part. This part, and then you could bounce and go like so. It could take a while. Okay. Is the bull cycle over? The bull cycle, I think, is already over. It ended when the monthly cycle broke. It's now a matter of how far does it correct until it ends, till the new cycle begins. The bull cycle ended this weekend with the new data that broke the monthly cycle. So the bull cycle's over. And again, that's just it's just the way the market is shaped out to be. I can't control it. But we tried to stay long as we could, but now we have to be, keep it real. So we have to go back to this update. A lot of people had this chart. I just wanted to keep us in the market as long as I could, and I did. But now you have to face reality that this is the major cycle peak off of this whole move. So now we're in 2. But 2 will end probably somewhere around here, and the new bull market will come alive. That's usually what happens. Okay, how we get there? This one took quite a big detour. This one shouldn't be as complicated because it's a lower degree. This was the grand super cycle. Super cycle. This is cycle, so it shouldn't be as like tortuous of a path, but it should come down to these areas. But yeah, the bull cycle ended with my weekend update. I ended it, but I mean, a lot of people had already ended it here. There were a lot of people that did already call the top. I just wanted to keep us in the market. This was the last opportunity to do it, but then, we were long. This was the bulls needed to break above 100. They couldn't do it, and they needed to break above 95. They couldn't do it. So the cycle's over, man. The bulls failed. So we're in a bear cycle. Yeah, and so now you have to short Bitcoin until we get to these lower areas, or short crypto, which is why we're shorted MicroStrategy. All right, guys. Solana is in a lot of trouble. Don't hold on to hope, guys. I think my Solana update said if we break this low, this is a connector for this whole move, and it's going back to like $20 or lower. And I know, again, you can't hold up hope, guys. You have to face reality for the way it is. I mean, I wish I had better news to share, but that's where it's probably heading. Okay, and in fact, that's where it eventually headed the last bear cycle back down. I mean, it's probably going back down there. Will it be a straight line? It won't be. So if you're in that G-Sol, I would not. In this kind of looking formation, I would get out while the get-in's good. Because you're in this count, and this could be so many things. You could be in a 1-2. You could be in about to be a free fall 3-3. If you're lucky, you're still in X, and you can dump it or short it. If we get a pump, we want to short it. If we don't, it may be too late. So I think it broke the pivot. So it's toast. It's toast for a while. But the crazy thing about Solana is it will come out of the ashes because it broke the high in a 1-2-1-2 in the future. But most people will be long, give up on it. So we'll have to we will revisit it. I promise you. If we do make it down here, we will revisit this chart. I won't forget about it, and we'll be buying the GSOL if it even still exists then. But the cycle's over, man. It's just the way the market just isn't bullish anymore. It broke down, and it's just the way it goes. TSLL probably will bounce around when Tesla's at 210, 200, but I don't want to catch a falling knife in Tesla if it's a flat. So Tesla is not something like, I think you got to be very careful in Tesla, because in Tesla's situation, it should bounce here. I mean, it should either have a bounce in B or the low. And if it is, then TSLL is a great opportunity. Now, I've been trying to chart TSLL just for the fun of it. It looks like this wave 3 should be over soon, and we should be getting some 4s and 5s, but it still shows more downside. But the time it would be somewhere around here. It should bounce. It really should. But if it's in a flat, it won't bounce. And we may be down more than 15% in one day. It may be down 25, 30% in one day. So you got to understand the situation that you could be buying into the teeth of a flat. So it's very, very dangerous here if it's a flat. But as long as we maintain some bullish divergence, I'm okay. And how we get to this box tells me a lot. If we meander down slowly in 4s and 5s with bullish divergence, I'm more apt to buy TSLL. But if let's say tomorrow we wake up and we're down at 190, then I'm not touching it, man. It's gonna cut. It's in a flat. It's gonna cut through this, and I'll probably want to cancel those trades. Any buys here will need to be canceled, because you don't want to touch a flat. But I think it should bottom here. It really should. Yeah, bonds should pull back. I agree. Lean. Yeah, I should agree. Bonds should pull back. DJT I did earlier. You could watch that. URA is a safer play than MSOS. I think MSOS. Yeah, I think MSOS is much higher beta, much more upside potential, with more downside risk. The URA has a bullish structure off of the lows, so I would say, yeah, the URA is better because you're 5 off the low of 2020. That implies you should make another wave higher at some point in the future. XRP, yeah, how's that been doing during this this situation? I wonder how that's been, if it's been holding up. Like I said, once the king goes down, the kingdom falls, right? The kingdom falls with the king. It's in our support area, ironically, and it's still holding the low. Now, see, that's really bullish, guys. I mean, look, you saw Solana, all these other cryptos, it's still holding the low. Okay, now, I'm not like naive. It's probably gonna come down. I mean, but it's in our support area. Now, I don't like this pattern. A head and shoulders look. I don't like that. We know we had 3 down, 3 up, and 3 down. So there's no clue. It could easily lose this level, and I said if it does, it's definitely going to get hit hard. But it can easily swing back up here. I think I don't know. I think you just let the market decide. You hold your long position, but you would probably want to stop out at 170, is my guess. But it must be doing something right if Bitcoin's getting hit and it hasn't broke this low like most of the other altcoins have broken the February lows already. All right. BCHG, let's look at that real quick and see. We already know the target for Bitcoin Cash, and that's been playing out. BCHG is actually still holding its structure too. Isn't that crazy? It's still holding its structure. I told you, if Bitcoin Cash hits the buy area and this doesn't make a new low, you better be buying this thing. That's a huge divergence, hidden bullish divergence. This is the count, man. I mean, if you come back and break this low at 282, then it's likely to break 253. And if it breaks 253, then this was just a 1-2, and then you're going to hit these lower areas, the support area, the next support area, which is probably, based on this chart, probably right around 153, 154. But I don't stop yourself out, right? There's no reason. Let the market stop you out. It's holding. I mean, I don't know why it would do this, but it is doing it. Now let's go to the Bitcoin Cash. I'm just kind of curious. Holy, look at the futures, guys. I'm trying to. Again, I was telling you guys a tornado was coming. I told you guys a tornado was coming. I hope you didn't try to dip by. But anyway, trying to tell y'all. All right, so let's see. Let's see what we got with Bitcoin Cash. It's still got a ways to go. But once you break W, the correction can end at any moment. Once Y breaks W, this correction can truncate and end at any moment. If we break W and that Bitcoin BCHG is still above the low, I think you got to buy BCHG. There's something going on in this market. There's somebody ready to pump the shit out of this thing, is what it's telling me. It almost seems it can't be believed, but maybe we're finding a hidden gem here for some reason. But let's look at the divergences. Yeah, see, O-race divergence. So I wonder if this thing's going to truncate. Just do a real quick drop on the weekend, maybe when BCHG isn't trading, and then it finishes up. And then for God knows what reason it runs. And again, I don't know why it would run. Maybe Trump will include it in some crypto basket. I don't know. Maybe maybe people want it for. I don't know why. I don't know why. Maybe enough people sold it finally. There's just no more sellers left. I just think it's strange. It's very strange behavior. Very odd behavior. I'm seeing very odd price action here, but it does need to make more downside. So I don't know. It would be tough unless this downside could happen on the weekend. But some real strange price action. But we'll keep an eye on it. We'll keep an eye on it for sure. So I don't have a Discord yet, but maybe one day I will. Tesla in the buy area after. Oh, is it really down that much already? Holy shit. Let's go look at that. Oh my God. This is what I was warning you guys. Be very careful. It's not showing the after hours. I need to see my Robinhood real quick and see where Tesla's trading. Is it really getting annihilated again? It's down 5%, 211. Yeah, it's in the area. Okay, so guys, this is the Tesla game plan here. You like I said, it needs to be a fifth wave, right? It needs to finish like a fifth wave, like in this shorter time frame. Not the higher. The higher time frame can be 3 waves, but the fifth wave on the short, so on the 15-minute, you need to see some If you don't see that, and it just drops into 210, and then let's say tomorrow it's at 19, like you probably don't want to catch that falling knife, and I'll have to put out an update to everybody. But that's what it looks like it's happening. That capitulation. Let's look at the levels again. See, there's support there at 189. Maybe it's going to go to 189. Maybe that's where it's got a tag. So maybe 189 is the better fine point entry, or you break through and wick back up. This will definitely be a big boy trade in here, big girl, big boy trade in. That's going to happen here, because I guess you want to see on the shortest time frames bullish divergence to show some wave 5s. You can't have it look like this. If it looks like this, don't buy it. Now, if it doesn't, if it has some bullish divergences on the shorter time frame, and you're in this area, I think you have to decide what's best for you. I think it could rally here. I really do. And again, you time it with Bitcoin at 72, with Robinhood where I showed you, and I think perhaps maybe, just maybe, you just throw some money at it and see what happens. Because you may get a great quick reaction out of this, even if it will fail later. But if you don't have that, you'll be in a flat, and then I guess you could try to stop out at 166 if you get caught in the flat. But this will definitely be the deep end of the pool. If we're gonna be trading in this box tomorrow, it's gonna be some deep end of the pool stuff. Because you're gonna have shorts covering, because they're gonna finally take profit from here. And guys, we even had the short call. We had this short call before I started my channel. I mean, I'm sure these guys probably already took their profit, but I'm sure somebody's still open from 440. Those guys are got to be taking profit now, and they're gonna all start taking profit. It's gonna create a lot of like big swings. Big swings, and that's signs. In some ways, that's the sign that we're close to a turning point too. If we don't see that and we just keep cutting through, then it's the flat. It's the flat, and it's going to go to unthinkable targets, and it's just the way the market's working against the company right now. But good luck. Tough call. Yeah, I would say if it opened up at 210, I'd be really careful just buying it. I would want it to see a shorter, some bullish divergence. Show me some bullish divergence. I would want to fine tune my entry better. But there's been times with the box that it defies all logic and counts, and the market just reverses hard. So you can sometimes miss the move. That's why you got to do what's best for you. I showed a box. I don't show buy it at 180, but then you can miss the move. So this box is a Fibonacci level, has nothing to do with Elliott waves, and then you can decide how aggressive you want to be or not. But it's not without risk. I'm telling you, if you guys are going to go long this, it's not without risk. Okay, guys, just good luck on that. Yeah, I think, well, I told you guys we're in that 3 of 3, right? My update was like the Dow Jones, right? My last update was, look at the count, guys. 1 2 1 2 1 2. That means this is the capitulation move, right? Now, I wanted like another little bit of a rally. Maybe we could try to get another short set up, but they may just capitulate this thing now. They may just say, forget it. Let's get it. Let's get this over with, which would move the VIX up. That means the VIX could start to hit escape velocity. That means this isn't going to happen. It's going to be a 1 2 1 2. We're just going to, and then it's just, let's get this correction over with. Yeah, let's get this shit over with. And get this. And it's funny with the computerized trading now, we don't get these 20-year bear markets like they did in the 70s. We get like, 20-day bear market. We get bear markets that like essentially end as fast as they start. Like, so who knows how fast this can go? Once the computers think the major cycle's over, it's just going to pick a level and it's just going to slam the market to it. And if this is the level, it's just going to drop it there. Like, you won't have it, and it's going to happen fast. So wherever the level is, and if that guy with Dow 1000's right, I mean, we're going to be, our first stop would probably be the October 22 lows. Like, we would just slice through this like butter. We just like, boom, one big candle, two big candles, and then chop, chop, chop. I mean, that would be that's how Dow 1000 happens, guys. So that would be like Great Depression, 1929 shit. Like, would have to happen to get that. Because we have a lot of ground to cover. We're at Dow 41,000, right? So with computerized trade and all that, if it thinks that kind of cycle's over, then we have to cover a lot of ground quickly. They wouldn't even be able to open the markets. They would just close the market, and then eventually someone would force them open, and they said you have to open, and then they just accept. That would be the circuit breakers would have to be overridden. That's probably how that would go down too, by the way. Is just my thinking. All right, guys, appreciate it. Thanks again. Microsoft 374. Yeah. So again, I'm not giving up on all long positions. I'm not becoming perma bear. We are buying things in the right setup with the right oversold conditions and the right count, because when we do rally, those are the ones that are going to rally the hardest and be the safest, the lowest risk. They should. And then, if we're lucky, they go to new highs and they become the market leaders of the future. And then if they don't, we take a little bit of profit on the bounce and get out of them, and we won't talk about them again. But we have to buy, you can't just be like not in the market. Like, so we do buy, but there is without risk. And a lot of the things we bought, we have gotten reactions, but the reactions are happening so fast. So you have to be like in front of your screen, and then you miss it. You watch it, like, Kava hits, it moves up $4, you get a reaction, and then it's gone before you realize it even happened. Or even Facebook today, Meta hit our level, it reacted, and it may lose it, and then it's like, shit, I should have took some profit. So once you get your reaction on your level, take some profit, move your stop, and then you can't lose. But the buy and hold shit isn't going to work in this market. Like, it's too volatile. But we got to buy some. You can't just not buy anything. So we have to buy something. And hopefully with your short positions, you're making so much money, you can cover these little 1%, 2% losses when we do get stopped out. But it's like the Tesla short, the MSTR short. I mean, if you did a leverage short on a 2-time MSTR, you're up probably like 50% now. Like, so you could, if you get just, a couple of those right, you don't need to make a lot, so you could play around with tight stops on long positions, but do it smart. We're not buying randomly. We're not just buying randomly indices and just like trying to bottom call it. Oh, it's the bottom, it's the bottom, it's the bottom. Like, we're not playing that game. We're not playing that game. We're buying things with good setups. And then let the market decide for us. And then if the setup's lost, we have to walk away from it. And at some point, the market will stabilize for a bigger relief rally. And we'll have all our long positions ready to go, and we won't have to chase, and we'll make it. That's how we're doing this, guys. But you have to play it out. This is going to be a brutal bull market, because this is for the Dow Jones. It's a grand super cycle wave 3 top. The last one that we may have seen was, if we go back to the history of the Dow Jones, right? Again, this history. Go all the way back. The first grand super cycle was 1, 2, right? The 1970s, 3, 4, 5, and that was 1, 2. So the last wave 3 grand super cycle peak was right here in the 1970s, depending on where you put your peak. So this was a nasty bear market. We could be in a bear market like something like this, not as long, but something similar. Something as erratic and crazy and just spectacular. That's what a grand super cycle peak is, or 3 is. That's what we're in. Now, some people believe it's the actual top. Their count is different. They have this as a 4 and a 3 and a 4 here, right? They have this as a 3 and a 4, and then they mean this is all 5 and it's over. And that's why it comes all the way down, right? And it's like, oh my God, that would suck or something, So I think you just have to understand like the situation. If this is an extended 5th wave, our world is about to change like we've never seen before. If that is true, if that is a real count, but I don't think it will take too long to know that, if we've broken down already. But I don't think it's true. I think we're in this. We'll get a 4. We'll get a 5. New highs. Trump will probably leave office as it's starting to turn down. And then the new president comes in and all hell breaks loose. And that's it. And then I don't know. I think it goes back to my guess is it probably goes back to the COVID lows when it's done, the 2020 lows, when this whole cycle's over. That's my thinking. But that's how I look at the market right now. I don't know but I do think we're in this where this is 3, and like I said, it could become 3 and 3 and could do this erratic triangle. Like I mentioned, it could be this erratic triangle. I could do something like that. Could you survive trading if it did that? If the market did something like that in 4, like a mini version of the 1970, like could you survive that? It could do that. So we don't know. We don't know how it's going to play out. But what we know is we're in a whole new phase of the market that we haven't seen before in a long time. And I got one last super chat that just came in. I was about to get off, but I'll do that. LTCN. Uh, LTCN probably will go there because it looks like Litecoin's going to the 60s. It got caught up in another flat. And this one obviously broke the low. So yeah, I mean, we're looking for the target is at 622, but the sweet spot's 511. Let's take a look at our count and see how we're doing. One, two, one. It's probably 1, 2, 1, 2. You have to take that divergence out. Now that one looks okay, but you need to take this peak out. You're gonna have to take that peak out. So it's probably a 1, 2, 1, 2 here. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, something like this. Something like this. And then something like this. So you got the meat of the down move about to happen, or it's happening tonight. And then that will define how deep it goes. But it needs to meet all those conditions. I think it's just likely to head back. Again, I just drew this line somewhere around. That's probably not a good like. It's tough to say. Like it could be here too, 428. Maybe yeah, I'm just trying to draw through a majority of the wicks. It's not perfect. So there, maybe that's better. So that's 450. 450. We actually had the buy here, guys. I know some people bought it there at 333. So we're not perma bears, but we're bearish when we need to be. But the market will always come back because people thought this would never come back. And we charted this all the way from the beginning. So it always comes back. The cycle always ends, right? The cycles always end, and so will this downtrend. So don't despair. The market will be here in the future. This will come out. The correction will end. The selling will eventually subside, and it will create a massive opportunity for those that are patient enough, manage their money well, and are smart about how they approach the market. And if you do all those things, you'll be okay. Yeah, maybe the indexes can balance. I think if the VIX is going to blow up in 303 tonight, the markets will have its worst down day tomorrow. It will have this, and then perhaps Wednesday could be a recovery day with CPI, but tomorrow could be like it's always Black Monday. What's Tuesday? Black Tuesday. I mean, it can't be Black Tuesday. There's got to be a name for it. But Terrible Tuesday. But there's what's it? March 11th. Is that the Ides of March? What is March 11th? Any astrological significance? Is that going to be a historic day in stock market history tomorrow that we'll all talk about? Let's see here. Yeah, I don't know. March 11th. Yeah, nothing important on March 11th. Well, I'm not an astrologer, so I can't help you guys with that. But anyway, maybe tomorrow will be a day for the history books that we'll all remember. It could be with the VIX setup and the setup in the Dow breaking the double top with somewhat of a back test, not really a good one. It could be a massive day of panic and fear where we finally get the real capitulation we've been looking for, guys. Oh, is it the Ides of March? Isn't that crazy? I don't know. Isn't that funny? So there you go. Ides of March. Yeah. So it's not on. Yeah. Falls on March 15th. It's March 15th, I think. But anyway, guys. All right, good luck. Obviously, looking like a bloodbath on the futures. I think what's happening is the other stuff that pumped is now starting to sell off. All the other shit outside the U.S. is finally correcting. That's what's trying to drive in the futures, and that's what I expected. That's why I wanted to like start to short some of these high flyer, stuff like this. That's lagging, but they're going to play catch up. All right, guys. Good luck and appreciate it. And turnaround Tuesday. Hey, maybe it could do that. It has everyone that's tried to call it has not succeeded. The only way to turn around tomorrow would be if the VIX did this fifth wave. So the turnaround Tuesday would be a fifth wave, a 1, and then this 2. That would be the turnaround. That would be the setup. But if you erase divergence, that goes away, and the strength of the selling tonight makes it seem like this will become another 1-2, and we'll be out. We'll be breaking out. But who knows? Maybe we can recover before open. But this would be the sucker rally part 2, like this one was. This would be another one if it's like this. This seemed more likely, but maybe it's more bullish on the VIX than we thought it is. Maybe it's more like out like that. Anyway, guys, appreciate it, guys. I'm out of here. Good luck trading tonight. Stay safe. Go in your tornado shelters, hunker down, and get on your lifeboats. Hopefully, you already have some lifeboats so you're on, and you're just sleeping good tonight because you prepared. Your fellow traders and fellow peers probably were not prepared, and they're going to have a calamity, financial calamity that they got to deal with, and it's sad. But that's why I started my channel, to help you guys out. All right, guys. Anyway, appreciate it. And Darth Buddha, if my channel evolves to that point, I'll definitely reach out to you. I appreciate